Welcome to a question older than time itself, a question that empires were built upon and destroyed for, a question that lies at the center of every religion, every revolution, and every restless soul. Does God exist? You're watching Scientist and Philosopher, a channel where truth isn't preached, it's pursued, where questions aren't feared, they're welcomed, and where logic walks hand in hand with wonder. This is not just a video. This is a journey through science, philosophy, and the unexplored corners of the human mind. Are you ready to think deeper than you've ever thought before? Then, let's begin. The cosmic perspective. Let's look up into space. Billions of galaxies, trillions of stars, and here we are, a tiny species on a floating rock. Now pause and ask, why is there something rather than nothing? Science tells us about the Big Bang the moment when time, space, and matter began. But what caused the Big Bang? Where did the laws of physics come from? Why do they work so perfectly, so consistently? Stephen Hawking once said, "Because there is a law such as gravity, the universe can and will create itself from nothing." But is nothing really nothing? Or is it something? Physicists like Lawrence Krauss argue that nothing is actually a quantum field. But then where did that come from? Are we just pushing the mystery one step back? Even Einstein, who didn't believe in a personal God, said, "The most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible." Could order, logic, beauty arise from chaos by accident? Or is there an intelligence behind the curtain? The fine-tuning argument. There are over 30 fundamental physical constants in our universe gravity. The speed of light, the charge of an electron. If even one of them was slightly different, life couldn't exist. Think about it. If gravity were stronger, stars would burn out too quickly. If it were weaker, they wouldn't form. If the expansion rate of the universe was off by just 1 part in 10, 55, galaxies wouldn't form. That's not just unlikely. That's unimaginably precise. Some call this the anthropic principle, that maybe we exist because the universe allows for us to exist. But that's not an explanation. That's just a restatement. So what are the options? 1. Chance. We just got lucky. Out of infinite possible universes, ours works. 2. Necessity. The universe had to be this way. 3. Design. There's intention behind it. Multiverse theory tries to explain this by suggesting there are infinite universes with different constants, but we've never observed them. It's an unprovable theory just like God, some might argue. So, is belief in a designer really unscientific or just uncomfortable? Consciousness, the hard problem? Let's bring the question closer inside your mind. You're hearing this voice, you're processing these words, but who is doing the hearing? Science can explain neurons, synapses, brain chemistry, but consciousness, the subjective experience of I am, remains a mystery. Why does a lump of matter suddenly start experiencing? Philosopher David Chalmers calls it the hard problem. Is consciousness just an illusion? Or is it something deeper, fundamental, maybe even divine? Buddha never spoke directly about God, but he explored consciousness so deeply that he reached a state called nirvana, beyond self, beyond form. Was he touching the source? Could consciousness be the clue that the universe isn't just material, but mystical? The moral argument. Let's move from the mind to the heart. We all have a sense of right and wrong. Even if we disagree on the details, murder, cruelty, injustice feel wrong. But where does morality come from? If we're just evolved apes, why should anything be truly right or wrong? Why should we care? Atheist philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, "God is dead and we have killed him." But he warned without God, morality would collapse. Today, we live in a world of moral relativism. Yet deep inside, we still cry out for justice, for love, for meaning. Could this inner compass be a reflection of something greater, of a moral source, of the divine, the God we don't understand? Here's the problem with the word God. Most of us imagine an old man in the sky, judging us. But maybe that's not God. The Tao Te Ching says, "The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao." The Upanishads say, "Neti neti, not this, not that." Mystics across traditions agree, whatever the divine is, it's beyond words, beyond forms, beyond human categories. So maybe the real question isn't, does God exist? But what do we mean by God? A cosmic mind? A universal intelligence? Pure awareness? Love itself? Maybe we've misunderstood the question all along. Objections and counter-arguments. Now, let's be honest. There are strong arguments against the existence of God. The problem of evil. If God is good, why is there suffering? The hiddenness of God. If God exists, why doesn't he make himself obvious? The success of science. We no longer need God to explain thunder, diseases, or the stars. Fair points. But maybe suffering exists because of free will, the cost of consciousness. God is not absent, just subtle. Like love, like music, you have to be still to feel it. And maybe science explains the how, but not the why. A personal exploration? I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I've sat in silence. I've watched the stars. I've felt the stillness where thought disappears and something else remains. Not a man in the sky, not a voice, but a presence. Call it awareness, call it love, call it God, or don't call it anything, but it's there. Maybe not to be proven, but to be experienced. So, does God exist? Science gives us data. Philosophy gives us logic. Spirituality gives us experience. Maybe the answer isn't in books. Maybe it's in the quiet between thoughts. Maybe the real answer is you. You've just taken a journey through reason, wonder, and mystery with scientist and philosopher, where thought meets truth and doubt meets depth. If this video moved you, don't just like it, live it, share it, talk about it, and most of all, question everything. This is Scientist and Philosopher, signing off for now. Stay curious, stay aware, and above all, stay deeply human. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself.